Sophie Cunningham gets fined $500 by Kathy Angle Brain.
$500 is absolutely hilarious.
Sophie Cunningham is going viral right now for a TikTok video she made.
For making this slick TikTok.
You can elbow a player directly in the face in the WNBA and get away with it. But post a 15-second TikTok video calling out the referees who let it happen? That'll cost you $500. Sophie Cunningham just learned that lesson the hard way, and in doing so, she exposed the WNBA's most dangerous secret. The league is more interested in punishing its truth-tellers than protecting its players. This isn't just a story about a fine. It's about a broken system reaching its breaking point.
Sophie Cunningham actually posted this herself, stating, "I got fined $500 for..."
Cunningham posted the video 6 days ago. It shows her lip-syncing lyrics from Sabrina Carpenter's song Man-Child. The caption to the video is, "At some refs."
Stupid. Or is it slow? Maybe it's useless.
Yesterday, Cunningham reposted the video on X with a caption about the fine.
Fans, they're responding to this video because she's calling out WNBA officiating, WNBA ref.
Cunningham criticized some refs by describing them as stupid, slow, and useless. Damn!
It started with a simple viral trend. Sophie Cunningham posted a video to TikTok lip-syncing to Sabrina Carpenter's song Espresso. But it wasn't the song that caught fire. It was the brutally honest caption. With the camera rolling, she mouthed the lyrics while the words on the screen did the real talking. Aimed directly at the league's officials, the caption read, "At some refs," followed by the sharp, stinging descriptors from the song. Stupid, slow, useless. In an instant, a player had dared to say publicly what fans had been screaming privately all season. It was a bold, unfiltered statement from a player who had clearly reached her breaking point. The league's response wasn't to investigate the officiating. It was to punish the messenger, hitting her with a fine that sent a shockwave through the sport.
Sophie got hit in the back of the head with the elbow, right? Ref looking right at it. Didn't do a thing, didn't say a thing, was shaking her head like, nah, you flopped. That is crazy work.
If you guys don't remember what happened in this game, in the Sun game, right before this, she got chucked out of bounds and the referee just stared and watched. And then she got elbowed in the face 2 possessions later and the referees just watched.
Following play, Sophie Cunningham breathes on a player, gets called for a foul. Referees were definitely not doing Sophie any favors that game and purposely ignoring, dare I say, flagrant fouls. Elbowing somebody in their shoulder, elbowing somebody in their neck, face area, yeah, that's a flagrant foul. There's no other way to slice it.
This explosion of frustration wasn't random. It was the direct result of a game where the officiating went from incompetent to what felt like a personal vendetta. Just before she posted that video, Sophie was on the court, getting brutalized with no protection. During a game against the Sun, she was violently elbowed in the face. The referee had a clear line of sight, watched the entire play unfold, and did absolutely nothing. No whistle was blown, no foul was called. It was a silent, chilling endorsement that this level of aggression was perfectly acceptable. When Sophie, stunned, made a brief comment to the ref about the blatant missed call, his alleged response was a smug and threatening, "Oh, I'll remember that." Sure enough, just moments later, she was hit with a phantom foul call for playing routine defense. This wasn't officiating anymore. This was retaliation.
I got fined $500 for this TikTok. I don't know why this is funny to me. Like, okay, you got it, bud, because there's not more important things to be worried about with our league right now.
Caitlin Clark, and you can tell she's talking about being mentally beat down. We also know she's physically beat down. Why does this keep happening? And look, it's not just the Fever. It's not just Caitlin. There's a bunch of players across the leagues that's been speaking out against this.
What happened next elevated this from a personal grievance to a league-wide controversy. Sophie Cunningham wasn't just venting her own frustration. She was implicitly defending her teammate, Caitlin Clark, the most physically targeted player in the entire league. For months, the world has watched as Clark has been treated less like a basketball player and more like a human tackling dummy. She's been systematically elbowed, hip-checked, body-slammed, and shoved into scorers' tables. These aren't tough basketball plays. They are dangerous, non-basketball acts designed to intimidate and injure the WNBA's biggest draw. Yet, the whistles remain swallowed. Sophie's TikTok was a declaration. It wasn't just about one bad call in one game. It was a desperate cry for fairness for a teammate who has been subjected to a relentless campaign of physical abuse while the league turns a blind eye.
Am I shocked that an activist basketball league decided to target Sophie Cunningham? No, I'm not surprised by that. I mean, this whole league's got all of its priorities all bleeped up, especially from social media, this and that and the other, but that's not the point. She should not be getting fined for this shit.
It doesn't seem that Cunningham will receive another fine from the WNBA for her posts and her continued criticism of the league.
Stacey Dales, who covers the NFL, has been on NFL Network forever. She's laughing her ass off about this.
The league's decision to fine Sophie instantly exposed its own hypocrisy. A player can shove Caitlin Clark to the hardwood floor, as Angel Reese did, and have it initially ruled a common foul. Players can go on Instagram to mock Clark after she suffers an eye injury, as some opponents reportedly did, and face absolutely no repercussions from the league office. There are no fines, no suspensions, no public condemnations. But if you post a video pointing out that the officiating is a disaster, you will pay for it. The message, sent down from Commissioner Kathy Engelbert's office, is loud and clear. We will punish you for talking about the abuse far more quickly and severely than we will punish the abusers themselves. It's a broken system where speaking the truth is a bigger crime than committing the foul.
Sophie gets fined for TikTok, but players can bulldoze Caitlin almost every game with no response from the league.
And Caitlin, she's been through the same BS. We see the pattern, and the league better start seeing it too.
There's obviously, I did a video last night about Caitlin Clark, and you can tell she's talking about being mentally beat down. We also know she's physically beat down.
When Caitlin Clark returns, she's not getting abused and the referees are keeping their mouth shut. It's going to take somebody on the team to consistently speak out, because we know damn sure the coach is too scared to get fined. Oh, you guys going to fine me again? This is the game that after pushing and shoving for a jump ball, she says 2 words to the referee. The referee says, "Oh, I'll remember that." Following play, Sophie Cunningham breathes on a player, gets called for a foul. Referees were definitely not doing Sophie any favors that game.
This baffling double standard isn't just morally bankrupt. It's a catastrophic business decision. Caitlin Clark is an economic engine unlike anything the WNBA has ever seen. She is the reason the league is shattering viewership records, selling out arenas coast to coast, and driving merchandise sales through the roof. She is the rising tide lifting all boats. In any other professional sports league, a player this valuable is protected. The NBA knew it had to protect stars like Michael Jordan and LeBron James because they were protecting the future of the league itself. Yet the WNBA's leadership seems committed to a strategy of calculated neglect. By refusing to protect its most valuable asset, the league is not only risking her physical well-being, but also alienating the millions of new fans she brought with her. They are watching the league fumble its golden goose.
When last year, after Caitlin Clark got poked in the eye, dirty Dejanay Carrington and Alyssa Smith got on IG and made us mocking Caitlin.
Caitlin Clark has captivated the nation, breaking scoring records in college and bringing women's basketball to a whole new audience.
Caitlin Clark has changed the game. She changed it in college and in the WNBA. The country has fallen in love with what we have created. And America, here's the girl next door, all grown up, Caitlin Clark.
Sophie's $500 fine was never just about the money. It was a warning shot, a clear message sent to every other player, coach, and executive in the WNBA. Keep your mouth shut. This is how a culture of fear takes hold. Coaches are afraid to passionately defend their players on the sideline because they don't want to be fined. Players are afraid to speak out about dangerous plays because they don't want to become the next target of the league's disciplinary arm. Everyone can see the problem, but the system is designed to isolate and punish anyone who dares to challenge it. This is what makes Sophie's act so remarkable. In a league demanding conformity, she chose to stand up, knowing full well she would be the one to pay the price.
As long as Kathy Engelbert is going to play one of the 3 blind mice, they're going to keep doing it as long as Adam Silver just ignores this crap.
And all right, that is crazy work. They have to do better by these players. You have to protect these players, man. Protect your talent. It's as simple as that.
Sophie Cunningham is not the type who keeps her feelings to herself. The Indiana Fever star is quite outspoken, and she has no issue expressing her beliefs publicly, even if it gets her in trouble.
How did we get to an all-star game in Indiana where Caitlin Clark is not healthy enough to play? Well, it all started last year in her rookie season, where she received 20% of all the flagrant fouls in the league. And most of them came from Angel Reese in the Chicago Sky. And these weren't basketball plays. They were not only fouling her, but they were getting up, laughing about it, laughing about Caitlin Clark getting assaulted. Any other work environment, people go to jail for what's going on.
That threat from the referee, I'll remember that, wasn't just a heat-of-the-moment comment. It was a promise, and it exposed a far more sinister reality. Some officials are using their whistles not to enforce the rules, but to settle personal scores. When a player can be hit with a retaliatory foul call moments after questioning an official, the integrity of the game itself collapses. It transforms the referees from neutral arbiters into active participants with their own agendas. This isn't just bad officiating, it's an abuse of power. It creates an environment where players are afraid to even look at an official the wrong way, knowing that a single word could lead to a series of phantom calls that could cost their team the game.
Instead, let's find the players because they're speaking out loud. It would be different if the officiating was at least solid. I'd be like, yeah, you can't run your mouth about the referees. The officiating in this league blows chunks.
And last year, I noticed how much it was just Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark was taking all the hits. Caitlin Clark was taking all the abuse. But this year they've added Sophie Cunningham. She gets more flagrant fouls on her than anybody in the league besides Caitlin Clark. And Aaliyah Boston, she's been taking hits as well. But the worst thing is the consistency. So they don't call flagrant fouls, or most of the time, Caitlin Clark could be held for an entire game at a time. They don't call fouls. They don't call common fouls. But then when it's the Indiana Fever, guess what? Touch foul here, touch foul here. They call absolutely nothing.
In the face of this growing crisis, the silence from the top has been deafening. As the league's officiating became a national punchline and its biggest star was being treated like a crash test dummy, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert remained invisible. There was no press conference to address the concerns. There was no strong statement defending the safety of her players. There was no accountability for the officials. There was just nothing. This leadership vacuum has allowed the problem to fester and grow, signaling to both players and fans that the league office is either indifferent or incompetent. Strong leaders confront crises head-on. The WNBA's leadership, however, chose to hide, hoping the problem would simply go away. It didn't.
A bunch of players and coaches over the last few days have complained without being fine-worthy about officiating. I just want to see about your thoughts on if officiating is an issue and how it can be improved, because clearly there seems to be problems or a disconnect between what players and coaches feel and what officials are actually calling.
Yeah, I mean, there's a level of physicality that they're able to play with against her. I knew it as an opponent, and I see it as her coach. And I'm not exactly sure why, but it just is what it is. And we've got to help her learn to adjust and use it against them in certain ways. We've got to find some ways to make it a little bit easier for her. But the level of physicality overall in our league has been at a different level than it's been for a long time.
The officiating bias isn't just aimed at Caitlin Clark. It's a systemic problem targeting her entire team. The Indiana Fever are playing under a different set of rules. You can see it in the box scores. Stars like Aaliyah Boston find themselves in constant foul trouble for minor contact, while their opponents play with impunity. The free throw disparity in their games is often staggering. Other team stars like Breanna Stewart or Asia Wilson will go to the line 13 or 14 times, while the Fever's players get hammered on drives to the basket with no call. One commentator put it bluntly: if you wear that Indiana Fever jersey, consider it done. The refs are not going to be fair. The league isn't just failing to protect one player. It's actively disadvantaging an entire franchise, all because of the phenomenon it should be celebrating.
I know as a fan of sports for 60 years now, I know that, no one's ever happy with officiating. All sports deal with it, but we're working hard to make sure we're putting the best product out on the court, and our officiating then follows that.
History has shown us what happens when a sports league fails to protect its superstars. It risks its own future. The NBA became a global powerhouse because it understood that protecting Michael Jordan and later LeBron James was essential for growth. They got superstar calls not just because they were stars, but because the league knew that its faces needed to be on the court, not on the injury report. The WNBA is making the opposite choice. It is treating its generational talent as disposable and punishing those who dare to defend her. This sets a dangerous precedent. It tells future stars that this is not a league that will have their back. Fans are loyal, but they aren't blind. They will not continue to support a league that shows such blatant disrespect for its players and the integrity of the game.
They play against Breanna Stewart. She goes to the line 14 times. Asia Wilson goes to the line 13 times. And Aaliyah Boston can't play 20 minutes in a game without being on the bench in foul trouble. That's another problem that we're dealing with. But like I said, this year, it's not just Caitlin Clark. If you wear that Indiana Fever jersey, consider it done. The refs are not going to be fair, and they are going to cheat and do whatever it takes to do what the higher-ups say.
While the league office hoped its fine would enforce silence, it achieved the exact opposite. The fan response was not just supportive, it was explosive. Social media was flooded with outrage, with fans, journalists, and media personalities all condemning the league's backward priorities. The hashtag #FreeSophie began to trend as thousands of fans offered to pay her fine themselves, a symbolic gesture of defiance against a leadership they no longer trusted. It was a powerful statement that the league had completely lost the narrative. The fans became the conscience of the WNBA, demanding the accountability that the league refused to provide for itself.